Constantine, episode 4, A Feast of Friends. I definitely enjoyed this episode. I really, really love the ending scene because it got really, really emotional, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, it was when they found out that, well, I guess when his friend found out that he was the one who's going to be sacrificed, it was like, okay, it's a bit emotional. Constantine has to lose this friend who, even though in the beginning of the episode it was just like, he was already kind of using us. He had pretty much every option in life. His dad had more money than he knew what to do with. He really just used us to have fun. And then when he went on from using us to have fun and just partying, he went on to hardcore drugs and got addicted. And he was just kind of a loser, really. Like, that's how Constantine felt. And even though he felt that way, he went through the episode and was like, despite all the crap we've gone through, me putting you through that, and you feeling like you failed me, we're still friends. I knew you were on drugs. All of us did. Is like, it wasn't a surprise or anything. He knew that through all that and having his friend really become his friend again, he knew he had to sacrifice him, and he still had to do it because it was kind of for the greater good. And so it was like, okay, it's fairly emotional. It's nothing I haven't seen before. But that very last scene where he was just sitting by he was holding his hand, and the guy's just like screaming in pain in the bed, and he's just sitting there, and it's like he can't do a single thing. He knew he was losing his friend. That I thought was an amazingly well done scene. It was so short, but that's all it needed to be. It was just that ending scene, and he's just holding his hand. He's not looking at him. He's just kind of looking down and stuff, and then he just looks up when the angel comes, and they don't show the angel like actually touch him or anything like that. It's like he's sitting there, the angel comes, they both know how it's about to end, and it's just like that's all there is to it, and it just goes off. And I thought that was an amazing way to end the episode, and it just like heightened the emotional aspect of it. And I really love that because this was the first episode we really got that, and I loved it. I thought it was really great. We got more stuff with Astrid, and that's because the friend that came in, he actually was there on that mission with them, and unfortunately he didn't really do much to help either. But it was just really good. We got the little backstory. Zed got to hear about it, so now she knows the actual story of Astra and how everything went down. But I really loved it. I thought it was good. Before it got to like the emotional stuff where it was Constantine kind of dealing with his past, and not only that failure, but just having this guy as a friend in general, I thought it was still pretty good. Like, just the demon itself was pretty crazy. I thought initially the guy was going to be the villain, but you could tell, like, once he kind of freaked out about the cop opening up the bottle, it's like, okay, he's just gonna end up running into Constantine at some point. But I enjoyed that. Really good special effects. It was really crazy. Like, some of the stuff they had, like, especially with the cop, it was kind of gross. Like, him just like eating all the food, and he dips his hand in like the hot grease and stuff, and then just puts the fries in his mouth, and then he just dies, and bugs are coming out. So I think for a lot of people, this episode probably had some moments they couldn't really look at, with just a bunch of bugs coming out of people's mouths, or when they were coming out of the sink when the woman was in the bathroom, which I thought was funny. It looked like she actually was like, what the fuck, on TV. Like, she didn't say anything, but it seemed like her mouth, that's exactly what she actually said. I thought that was funny. But I thought it was really good, and it was just a crazy thing. Like, it would infect one person, then move on to the next, and it would just make people kind of go nuts. And it looked gross, in certain scenes when people, depending on what people ate, it looked really nasty. Like when Constantine finished the glass bottle and he went and he found the woman Jo, and she looked like she was in a totally different state from most other people. And it could be because they had just jumped from so many people at one time in such a small space. And also, she was like just eating meat. It wasn't just like, oh, let me grab fries from you and then eat a piece of meat here. It was like she was like bending down to eat a bunch of raw meat. So of course it makes it look a little bit worse. But I thought that scene was pretty good, and it didn't exactly go the way I expected it to. And it was just, the force was so powerful in the demon that this collection of bugs just shattered the glass. Like, Constantine couldn't even hold on to it. So I thought that was cool, and we got a cool, crazy psychedelic moment and stuff that I thought that was actually really well done too. And they had the part where he like, the guy took Constantine's eye out, and it looked pretty cool, and just the crazy effects going on and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty interesting. And also with the part with Jo, when Constantine was doing the actual spell, and she was like, they had the woman like crawling on her back, and it was like the Exorcist or something. I was like, that's really cool, and it kind of made this episode seem like more of their Halloween based episode than the one they actually had, which is fairly interesting. And I don't know, I guess just because that kind of instantly makes me think of a ton of horror movies because that's what they do is like have someone like run backwards. It looks really creepy. So I thought of that. I thought that was a good scene, but overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I thought the main demon that they had to face was very interesting. The story of Constantine kind of gaining his friend back and kind of accepting the fact that he used him when he was younger and that he was on drugs during this really big moment that they had. And it's like, we are kind of both at fault. It's like, I could have told you, don't do this because, for one, it's not your world, and two, I knew you were on drugs like everyone else did, but I didn't, and so you shouldn't feel guilty. And all that stuff I thought was really well done. It was kind of the first real step outside of the first episode where we learn about Constantine, and of course, with the pilot being the pilot, you kind of have to do that, so it's expected. But in this one, it was unexpected, so I actually really enjoyed it, and we got to see it from a different side of things, and he was able to look at it from his friend's angle, who thought like, I kind of failed you, and that's why, that's kind of why we failed. And Constantine was like, no, it was really all on me because it's not your world, and I made other mistakes during that time that are solely based on my ability alone. So I love the episode. The ending, like I said, it has to be my favorite part. Like, I loved a lot of different stuff in the episode, the effects, and just how serious they got with like some of the blood and stuff like that. But the very ending, I just thought was an amazing scene. It was just very emotional, and it was Constantine with emotion, which I know it's only been 4 episodes, but we haven't really seen it, so it was really amazing to see. It wasn't funny or anything like that, and even when he first got there and he was talking to Zeb, he was just mad. He was like, I didn't want this. I knew it had to be done, but just because I knew that doesn't mean I wanted to go through with it. It still really, really sucks to me. And that was just good. It was pure Constantine emotion, and I really love that. And like I said, like, I can't hold up the ending scene enough because I just thought it was really, really well done. Like, his friend's just there, and he can't do anything but hold his hand, and that's what he does until the angel comes, and that's it. So I love the episode. Amazing, amazing ending in my opinion. Love the fact that we got an emotional side of Constantine. We probably won't get that for a little while longer now that they've given us our first taste of it, and mostly because I think the main emotions will come out of the whole failure during this case that was, of course, before the series took place. So those will be like the emotional episodes, and some of the moments with the angel in general, because he has a huge tie-in with that. So hopefully we get more out of that with the angel, although I kind of doubt it because pretty much whenever the angel shows up, it's just Constantine kind of hating the guy. So we probably won't get that too much out of the angel interactions, but I would love more emotional based stuff from Constantine himself, whether it involves Astra or anything else, like even if it's just like how he met Chaz and they have some emotional moment or whatever. I'd like to see that because Constantine's typically just this you know funny guy. Like, he just says stuff and it's like, all right, moving on, do the job, we're done. I make a couple of jokes here and there, and then everything's solved. And in this case, that wasn't it. So, I hope we get more stuff like that. Of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought about this episode, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what did you guys think about this as an emotional based episode? Did you like it more than the others? Did would you prefer it just sticks to the sort of monster of the week type of thing? Which do you prefer, more emotion or just, I guess, the more simplistic style of Constantine week by week? Here's a new monster, here's a new thing that we learned, and here's a new thing that got defeated. So which do you prefer, emotion or action for this? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.